Hi everybody, Alvin and I are driving today. We have a really long trip ahead of us. So rather than we're talking anyway, so we thought rather than just talk to ourselves, we might talk to some of you. So if we get distracted because we're on the road, just understand that. But we were having a conversation about submission because I've had some people reach out to me in some difficult and challenging relationships when it comes to submission and things like that. And one thing, my perception of submission from when I was growing up, we were taught that the man wears the pants, he's the head, the woman's opinion doesn't matter at the end of the day, the decisions are made by the man. And I felt for a long time that my opinions didn't matter, that whoa, the camera's bouncing here. Sorry, we're going over some potholes. So I felt for a very long time that it was wrong even for me to have an opinion, and that I just had to go along with whatever came down the pipe when it came to decisions, whether I liked it or not. Being with Alvin and us learning more about marriage, taking courses, and the information I've learned, what I have learned that is really valuable is I learned the divine design, the relationship that was created by God and how He wants marriage. And God has a divine design for our marriage, and that's a partnership. So why are you laughing?
Because when you're talking about...
I know I'm rambling because we're driving and I'm looking at these potholes.
When you're talking about, that you don't have an opinion, that the man had the opinion, I was doing the yes, amen.
Oh, and I didn't see that going on. Yeah. You're smelling yourself.
That's right.
But anyway, in Genesis, it talks about, in Genesis 1, it talks about that God created man in His image, and they are to rule the fish, the fowl, the creatures of the sea, and all that. You can read it for yourself. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. But God never said for us to have dominion over another human being. And even God does not dominate us. Jesus laid down His life for us, and He loves us, and submission is a gift we give to Him. We give Him our life. We give Him our heart. And we do that because He loves us so much, but He never forces Himself on anyone. He doesn't force you to love Him. And the divine design of marriage is that we are to reflect the relationship between Christ and the church. And when Alvin loves me, and is godly and acts like a godly man, and he acts loving like Jesus and lays down his life and loves me the way God's design is, it's easy for me to submit to him. It's easy for me to give him my heart. It's easy for me to want to please him with everything in my being because I feel safe and loved and secure and like he loves me and honors me. And when someone dominates the relationship and they control the relationship and they control you, that is not God's will. That is not God's divine design. That is abuse. And it's abusive behaviors. It's manipulation. And that is not what God intends. And there was a point in my life where I had to realize and see myself the way God sees me and values me, the way He loves me. And I didn't know that for a very long time in my younger years, that God loves me and I need to love myself and see myself the way He sees me and the way He loves me, and that it's okay for me to have an opinion. It's okay for me to teach people how to treat me by setting very healthy boundaries for my life. And now I'm doing all the talking and you're staring straight ahead.
I'm doing all the driving.
Well, this is true. What a partnership we have.
Yes, we do.
But no, I appreciate that Alvin and I, we make all of our decisions together. We're a partnership. And we just want to give you an example of how this can work. It's not necessarily what happened to us, but let's just say when we got together, Alvin wanted to move south. Like, let's say you want to move to Charlotte, or you wanted to stay in New York City or somewhere.
Right.
But I was from Canada, and I don't want to move that far away from my family, but we want to be married. Now, I know couples where they have that, maybe a disagreement like that, and both of them fight to be right, but in the end, the man might say, well, I'm the man, I wear the pants, so we're moving where I want to go. And the woman, if she's feeling controlled and dominated and not safe, and she's feeling that she has to give in, or she might pay for it, then she just goes along with it. And it's really not about the fight to be right. It's not a fight for Alvin to be right and get what he wants. It's not a fight for me to be right and get what I want. It's a fight to find the right solution, which works the best for our marriage. What if we moved really far from Canada, and then, for example, maybe Alvin gets sick or something? Now, we need to explore, what does that look like? Do I have family support to help me? Or am I going to be on my own caring for him? Like, there's a lot of different things you have to explore. It's not just because you like warm weather and I want to be closer to Canada. It's, you have to look at all the details of what's better for the marriage overall. It's never a fight to be right. A fight to be right means you have a lot of pride inside. And you've got to be right no matter what. It's about your pride. And God hates pride. And that needs, if you have that kind of pride and you just have to be right about everything, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be right, but you're not going to be happy. And it's not God's design for your marriage. And your spouse, if you're controlling your spouse might be going along with things, but on the inside, there's walls in the heart of that spouse. It's not genuine love. And eventually, your marriage is doomed for, it's a recipe for disaster. Maybe not today, but it's the little foxes that spoil the vine.
Yeah.
So
let me interject something.
Of course, baby, I'd love you to interject because I feel like I'm going a mile a minute.
You know, one of the things, forgive me for not looking at the camera, but you don't want to crash.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think, and I want to just backtrack a little bit on what you said. When we're talking about submission, that's been a big thing, you know, for my generation, growing up in church. I'm not sure how much of that is an issue in the last 10, 20 years, but growing up in the church in the 60s and 70s, the whole thing about submission, and even it happens now, so it does happen. I've seen it in other situations now, where submission means you do what I say, period. If I said it, you have to do it. And they use scriptures in the Bible to try to verify that. The question, though, is, this is where things can get a little misunderstood. Based upon all the other scriptures in the Bible that refer to submission, what does submission mean? So, as a person who lives in a Western culture, submission means to me that you do everything I say because you submit to me. If I own a dog, the dog has to submit to me. If I tell it to sit, it better sit. If I tell it to go fetch, it better fetch, because I'm the master and it submits to me. From the biblical culture, though, you hit it right on the head. That scripture that is so powerful and telling that says, husbands, love your wife as Christ loves the church. And in that instance, it's not talking about feeling love. It's not talking about romantic love. It's talking about an action love. It talks about agape love, agape kind of love. Now, why is that so significant? Because if I have to love you, then that means I have to consider everything about you. Consider your feelings. Consider the things that are important to you. So I'm not just going to lord over you because I feel like I'm the man of the house. If I truly love you, then my actions will reflect that. Jesus loved us so much that he did an act. He did an act of sacrifice, so that way he can redeem us and bring us to him and bring us to the Father. So the defining word and the most powerful word in that whole thing of submission for husbands and wives is love.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest word in that whole thing. Because, yes, it says, wives, obey your husbands, but husbands, love your wife as Christ loves the church. That means it's sacrificial.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we deal, like you said, how do we deal with issues? I want to move, say, to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm tired of the snow. I know a lot of people are tired of the snow, right? But she wants to stay up north. Let's say she loves the snow, and I know this is just may not be a major issue for some people, but for some people it may be. But here's what happens. In a relationship, I'm finding, even with us, you get what you negotiate. You get what you negotiate. The CEO of a company, he doesn't make every single decision for the company. He might see the overall picture so he can give the guidance of where that company is going. But he has managers and supervisors and team leaders and employees. All the people that are part of his team are helping to make some of those decisions and guide the way. And because he's at the top and he sees all the different departments of the company, he's making decisions. Really, a great leader is someone who knows how to pull the best out of the team that's working with him. A great husband becomes a great husband because he does his best of pulling out the best of his wife and her opinions and her feelings and the things that matter to her. He does the same things for his kids. I'm not saying it's easy. I know for me, I need the heart of God. I need the wisdom of God, because on my own, who knows? But God knows. God knows what's before us.
Yeah.
So I guess I just wanted to say that the key of submission is that word love. Key of submission is love. And number two, in terms of dealing with real life situations where we may have to discuss or we may disagree, we have to negotiate. Negotiate means effective communication in coming to a solution to a problem or a potential problem. That's all I got to say.
And when submission is like when a spouse dominates and forces a spouse to submit, it's not submission anymore. That's obedience. That's obedience and control. Submission is a gift I give to you. It's like me giving you my heart.
Right.
So you could force me and dominate me, and on the outside I obey, but my heart isn't submissive. My heart is hurt, and my heart feels unsafe, and I really in my heart wouldn't respect you.
Right.
But when you love me and you give me the love, that agape love, I want to submit to you. Now I give you the gift of submission.
Right.
And submission is a gift.
Yeah,
but
that'll preach right there. That'll preach.
Yeah. Anyway, we hope this helps some of you, because again, that can be, I know, like I said, growing up, my perspective on submission was that I didn't have an opinion as a woman. And yikes. I know you're all looking at my hair because it's different. It looks red in this light. It's not staying exactly like this. We had a big dilemma about this. Women, have you ever messed up your hair and tried to change it? This was the most daring thing I've done in years with my hair.
And men, have you ever tried to convince?
Oh my goodness!
Have you ever tried to convince your wife that her hair looks nice, but she just doesn't believe you? This hair has taken over our whole entire life.
Oh yes, our whole entire life.
Oh my! I'm just telling her she should just cut it all off. Cut the whole thing off. I don't care.
Anyway, I just saw it. All of a sudden, it went red. Not that I don't like red hair, but I don't think it would look good on me. But anyway, so I didn't want to shock you.
Too late.
So we hope you're all having a beautiful day, and it's a gorgeous day out here in the sun, and we just wanted to share a little bit of that with you. Sometimes we get talking and we think of something, but then it's like, well, why don't we turn the camera on? Because we're having a discussion, because maybe we met someone or talked to someone and they're having an issue, and we thought, well, maybe there's more people having this issue, and maybe we can just encourage you. So we hope we encouraged you, right?
Hope so.
Anyway, we have to get back on track here and make a stop up the road. So have a great day, everybody. Bye.